let's go to Paris. Okay, welcome back. Last week we left off with a pop tire in Nevada, and we were headed to Lathrop. We got done with that load, and then we got dispatched on another load, picking up in Shafter, and headed to Paris, which is what you just saw. And then after the Paris load, we got dispatched, headed back up to Tulare to drop a load in the Tulare yard and get on from there. Let's go. All right, I popped another tire. Second one this week. Yep. Well, I don't know what's going on with that. I've actually never popped a tire, ever, prior to 1 week ago, and then I popped two in a matter of a few days. Maybe it's my tractor, I don't know. But it's a totally different trailer, but super weird. Popped in the exact same manner too. Again, it was not like that this morning. Fortunately, we're close enough to the Tulare yard, so I'm just gonna take it straight there. I'm only about a few miles away, so that's convenient. I was going there anyway. This is a drop and hook at the Tulare. Okay. Okay, so after the Paris load, we got dispatched on another load, grabbing from Moreno Valley, and headed up to, well, we're relaying it in the Fresno night transportation yard. So we were doing that, and then I was almost there. It was about 8 miles, and then another tire popped. I have no idea what's going on this week, but I popped 2 tires this week, and this is actually the first time I've ever popped a tire, and so I don't know what's going on. Then I popped 2 in a single week. So yeah, we popped another tire. And yeah, so I got off the freeway, and I'm just taking some back roads to the Tulare terminal because it's only about 8 miles that way. So I'm just on some farm roads right now. And we're dropping and hooking this. We're just relaying it at the Tulare yard anyway, because it's not due at the shipper for a while. So we're going to drop and hook it in Tulare. I'll let the maintenance guys know what's going on with it. And then after that, we're grabbing another load in Visalia or something like that, California, and we're heading up to Sumner, Washington. So that's good. That's a good load. But yeah, I'm just a tire popping machine this week. I don't know what's going on. They just keep popping. I don't know why. So whatever. It's the exact same tire too, in the exact same place, but it's a different trailer. Okay, so we made a pit stop at the Fairview yard, which is Portland. So we're at the night transportation Fairview yard, and we're here because the lease operator coordinator said there was a vehicle that's on the chopping block to get leased. So I'm gonna go have a look at it. And again, my mechanical knowledge is pretty limited, but I'm gonna go take a look at it and see if it's leaking oil, see if there's any major issues. So the big ones I'm gonna look at are, is it leaking oil? Are there just obvious issues with the engine compartment or the frame or anything? And the interior. The way I see it is, if the interior is just torn up and it's just complete crap, well, that's a pretty good indication that the drivers who were in that vehicle were not treating it correctly. So maybe a little bit anecdotal, but I think that's probably a good assumption that if the interior is just completely torn up, then the engine is probably torn up as well. So that's one thing, and then just basic stuff, if it's leaking oil or whatever. So we're gonna go take a look at it right now. All right, there she is, the red one. Let's go have a look at her. Okay, so first off, what I'm noticing is only 7.1 miles per gallon. That's not great. I think my current Freightliner, this is a Freightliner by the way, it's Freightliner Cascadia. My current Freightliner is running about 7.3. Okay, 430,000 miles, which is a lot. That's more than I want. So that's not great. As far as the interior goes, well, there's some stains on that. I mean, getting a new bed for sure. So the beds are nasty, which is kind of to be expected. I mean, yeah, but I don't see any major cosmetic damage. I mean, there's supposed to be a door there, right there, but I don't know if they took it off or it fell off. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's where a fridge normally is. Maybe they just took the fridge out and took the door comes off with the fridge or something. I don't know. Nothing too bad in there. Yeah. It's got a radio knob, which tells me at least one driver had a radio, which tends to mean he had experience. Come on, faster. Okay. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. The hydraulics don't work like they should, but that's the underside there. Overall, I think this interior is okay, and nothing too out of the ordinary. My first thoughts are, though, this thing has a lot of miles on it. The MPG isn't great, and there was a check engine light, but I'm not sure if that was just because of the air pressure in the battery. It could have been that. But yeah, interior overall, I'd say okay. Let's go check out the exterior and the engine compartment. So I turned the truck off and now there's this ringing. I have no idea what that ringing is. No clue. But it's quite loud and hurt my ears badly. I'll have to ask a mechanic what that is. I hope it turns off. There it is. Okay. I have no idea what that ringing was. Shock absorbers are really rusty, actually. The other one too. I would say new tires on this one, on this half. These are brand new though. You know, it looks like they did a lot of work on this because that's brand new grease right there, which tells me they already had it in maintenance to some extent. So this one might actually be kind of ready to go potentially. Another thing I'm looking for is brand new equipment, brand new pieces of, like, brand new parts. Brand new parts indicate that they had to be replaced. And if they were replaced, then, okay, it's good that they're new, but it's also bad that they had to be replaced. Why were they replaced? You know, it raises a lot of questions. So that is rusty as hell right there. Which I guess is okay, but a lot of rust. This must have been an East Coast. All right, no, it's an Oregon one, of course. That's why it's all rusty. Oh, got some wire showing right there. Yeah, that's not good. That needs to be fixed. Probably needs new steer tires. Okay, so right away, I mentioned new parts, right? So that's a brand new steering gearbox right there. Why was it replaced? You know? Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know why that was replaced, but that's definitely brand new, basically. So, interesting note there. That's a brand new power steering fluid case. There's like no grease on it, so that was replaced. This was potentially replaced the filter, but I think that's probably fine. Brakes look okay. Steering linkage looks okay. Tie rod looks okay. A lot of rust. This whole thing is just rusty. Yeah, so it's got oil in it, if you can see that. But obviously they obviously have already done work on this. And if I had to guess, I would say this one's actually probably ready to go. Could be wrong, but there's oil in it. They've obviously replaced parts in it, so everything looks ready to go. Alright. Yeah, again, I mean, it's all kind of just rusty and a little bit corroded. But, I mean, what do you expect out of a vehicle with 430,000 miles on it? Coalescing filter is good. The turbo looks fine. I don't see a leaking turbo. Overflow reservoir looks good. I mean, yeah, so they definitely have already done work on it because the washer fluid is completely full, which is a very good indication that work has already been done. They even put grease in the little hood latch hole thingy, so it's actually greased right there. So definitely already did work, and this thing might be, actually, it might just be completely ready to go. Oh boy, that's a tight one, Jesus. Okay, so I'm just sitting in the vehicle right now. It's currently running. I'm trying to charge the battery because the battery was like clearly dead almost. It barely even started. So the second time I clicked it back on and waited a second, the check engine light was still on when I clicked it on. When I turn the vehicle all the way on, it turns off. So I don't know. My current Freightliner does that same thing, so maybe it's nothing. My other theory is that could be the battery itself. So what I'm trying to do is charge it for like 15 minutes or something, and then turn it off again, turn it on again, and then before I actually start it, when it's in battery mode, see if the check engine light goes off. But overall, I didn't actually see hardly any issues with this one. It does have a lot of miles on it, 430,000. So that, you know, that's more than I want, but not a complete deal breaker. Didn't see anything inside the engine that was too bad. It did have a brand new power steering gearbox and power steering reservoir there. So to me that indicates not that, oh good, it's brand new. To me that indicates no, something went wrong with it and they had to replace it. So it kind of a catch-22. But that was basically it. I mean, the interior seems reasonable. It seems like the drivers who were in it weren't tearing stuff apart, so that's good. Exterior looked fine as far as just like the frame and everything. It was pretty rusty, but this is Oregon, so it rains a lot, and I'm assuming this thing did a lot of Oregon time, so nothing too bad. I mean, yeah, prefer not to be rusty, but it is what it is. And then the engine compartment, as I already mentioned, didn't see any issues with the exception of the gearbox. It seems pretty clear to me that they have already done a lot of work on this and they were already prepping it because the oil was full, the power steering reservoir was full, the windshield washer was full, so everything was already full. And they greased a lot of the stuff in here, and it's clear. I think this thing actually might be ready to go right now, according to them. I'll have to ask, but to me it looks like this thing is actually, I could probably drive it down the road right now and should be okay. Hopefully it's okay. I'll have to ask, but to me, that's what it seemed like. It seemed like this vehicle is just ready to go. It has already been properly maintained. The only thing I would want to have to check on is the check engine light that comes on right away. I'd want a third-party mechanic to see what codes are on it. What codes have been cleared is a big one, because they can just clear codes and make the check engine light go away, but the actual issue is still there. So I would want a third-party mechanic to tell me what codes have been cleared and what codes are actually still kind of active. So that would be a good one. So that's this vehicle. It's up here in Portland, and it seems pretty okay. I mean, I would say this is a relatively okay. The biggest downside is, of course, 430,000 miles, and it's relatively low gas mileage. However, the counter to that is it would be a lower payment. So, interesting note there. That would be that's basically it. Yeah, if you guys have any input on what to look for when inspecting these things, I'm actually all ears. Leave it in the comments. Again, my mechanical knowledge is subpar, I would say. Definitely my weakest point when it comes to trucking. So if you guys have any tips on what to look for, put them in the comments. If you have any videos on what to look for, videos are even better because I can see exactly what to look for. Put it in the comments. I will take a look at them. And we're going with a Freightliner, so you know, just be aware of that. But anyways, yeah, first vehicle inspection seemed to go okay, and yeah, so we're just making a pit stop here, but we're gonna head back up to, well, we're heading up to Sumner, Washington to deliver this load, and I don't know where I'm going after that, but for right now, let's get back on the road. Okay, we're on the Columbia River right now. We're on the Oregon side. Right behind us is Washington. So we delivered that load in Sumner. Then we got another one back down to Vancouver area. And then we went to the yard again after we were done with that. No loads available. So went on a little run. Nice view. Either way though, the Sumner load is going to be the last load. Actually, excuse me, the Vancouver load is the last load. So that'll do it for this episode, and we'll get into the spreadsheet right now. Okay, it's spreadsheet time. For week 15, we did 6 loads, and we also received the safety bonus from last month. In those 6 loads, we did 2,483 miles. We were paid $1,321.16 for an average of 53 cents per mile. Overall, that brings us to 30,906 miles, and we've been paid a total of $16,656.75 for an average of 54 cents per mile. Average per week, so average, we're doing 2,060 miles per week and being paid $1,110 at the same rate per mile. For a 52-week period, so over the course of 52 weeks, if we stayed at this rate of 2,060 miles, we would get 107,140 miles over the course of a year, and at $1,110 we would be paid $57,743 over the course of an entire year. So I added this column in, thought it was good information. How much would I be making over the course of a year? What's my yearly salary? What's my total miles per year? And yeah, thought you guys might find that interesting. So just more information for you. Moving on, we've been at Night Transportation for 116 days. We've taken 12 days off. We've had 20 days of layover and 7 hours of detention. Between layover and detention, we've been paid $1,500. We've spent 104 days on duty. That includes days like maintenance and whatnot. And while we're on duty, our average pay was $160. And this days on duty does also include drive time. So every day we're out there driving, this also includes that, but it also includes maintenance and whatnot and layover. Now the days driving is just the days where I didn't have maintenance or layover or anything like that. This is the amount of days I've spent actually on the road just driving. And in those days, it's been 84 days, and in those 84 days, we've $198
and 29 cents. Average load length is 606 miles. Average miles on duty, so the average miles we get while on duty, and that includes in maintenance or in detention or whatever, is 297 miles, and the average miles per driving day is 368 miles. Okay, yeah, so there you have it. Not a bad week, 2,400 miles. I would say things are picking up, but actually, I got here in Portland. I'm still in Portland, and it's actually been a couple days, and they haven't been able to find me a load, so I'm still here, and it looks like I'm going to get some layover. So that's not good. But things were going pretty good until the last couple days, but hopefully they can find me something today. I got a full 70 at this point, so we'll see. As far as the truck I inspected, I actually just took it for a spin. I went to Starbucks and got myself a Starbucks, so that's what I'm drinking right now. And it seemed to run just fine. I didn't take it on the freeway or anything because it didn't have insurance, it didn't have any of the papers, it didn't have any of that, so I just sort of went around the block. It's like a mile down the road, so yeah, but it seemed to run just fine. Not bad. That vehicle's not bad. I mean, it's got a lot of miles, but other than that, that's it. And I asked the maintenance guy here what the backstory on that thing was, and he said that they actually had lent it to Penske for like a year or something, which is interesting. So looks like they drove it around as a night transportation truck for a few years, maybe until it hit like 300,000 miles, and then they leased it to Penske, which I didn't know they did, but that's interesting. So they did that, and then when I asked him if he had any like maintenance records for it, he actually didn't, because it's been at Penske for the entire time. So yeah, I wasn't able to get much information on it, unfortunately, other than the fact that it was being rented to Penske. So yeah, that's interesting. So in the next week or so, well, next couple weeks, I'll be inspecting multiple vehicles. I got a list of about, I think, like 7 or 8 vehicles, so I'm gonna keep inspecting them. I'm not gonna make a segment on each time I inspect a vehicle, otherwise it's just going to be too long, because I might do like 3 on the next vlog. So I might just do a roundup of the 3 I did, but I'm not going to show every single vehicle I inspect because it would just make the vlogs too long. So yeah, we're going to be inspecting a few more vehicles this week and the next week, and then probably making an offer on one by the end of the month, maybe. We'll see how things go. Yeah, but other than that, that'll do it for this episode. If you liked it, please hit the like and subscribe button. And if you're interested in truck driving, I will leave a link in the comments section and in the about section, and just fill out that information, and a driver recruiter will get a hold of you. See you next time.